Hello everyone, and welcome to the game of World of Warships. Today it's me play, and I'm in a Cleveland at tier 8 US cruiser. I'm on Web Islands of Ice in an epicenter game. Now it's a tier 9 battle, but there are only 3 tier 9s, although they're all battleships, so that might hurt quite a bit. Now there is a carrier, and well, there doesn't seem to be a raider, so that's nice, because I'm currently profiting from the smoke screen laid by my division mate Viper, which obviously makes this a lot easier. Now I've positioned myself here, well, in the outer circle. I mean, there's an argument to be made to get closer to the center so I can raider the center, but there's also a lot of cover there, so I'm not sure how much my raider would help there, and I felt like we might wanna just do a little bit of damage here towards the flank. I mean, the objective is very important here, but obviously you also have to ensure that you aren't getting flanked too much. So you don't want to let the enemy just push around you without doing anything about it. So there's a fire. So far my fire RNG has been quite lovely. And this Colorado has damaged my first fire earlier, and now he's just gonna burn. And since he will just burn here nicely, and while he's also showing quite a bit of broadside towards my team, let's just go and see what we can do with the tips. And oh, there is another fire. I almost feel bad, because I do love to play my battleships, and it's so frustrating to be constantly on fire. But you know, in this case, I'm the lovely cruiser. Now we do control 2 circles. It looks like we are losing the center. Our carrier is trying to do something about it, but the Kagero is probably inside the smoke screen, so not much he can do. And well, each team has already lost a ship. But so far nothing too exciting, I guess, has happened. Now we can see the Benson here. He is raided by my other division mate in the Chapayev. And my smoke is about to run out. Now, didn't really do anything against the Benson here. Cleveland's guns at range against a nimble target are not really ideal. But you know what is ideal? My trusty Benson here has his smoke screen almost ready again. So, then in 20 seconds, which means I can just... I mean, I'm just slowly creeping towards the next island, because I want to be a little bit closer to the center. Oh, and I am detected by planes. That could be troublesome, because there is certainly tippets that can shoot me. But planes go behind the island and can't spot no more. So, new smoke screen here for me, which means I can just stay here and shoot the tippets. Now, I'm not too worried about the center cap here. I mean, it's not like we're even trying to contest it currently, but you know, well, okay, the enemy team actually can accumulate points because the center is uncontested, and we might control the outer rings, but the enemy has ships in there. So I guess maybe we should concern ourselves a little bit with the center, but you know, there is still time for that. No reason to panic. And there seems to be a Friedrich pushing here. Now, I haven't been able to get too much out of this smoke screen yet, because we are losing vision against those enemies. Now, we seem to have a force here pushing outskirts. Well, I mean, it's 3 of our ships and about 3 of the enemy ships, so seems pretty reasonable. And, well, there is this Friedrich coming here. It's why I'm still somewhat around here. I will be able to shoot these Tirpitz, I guess. Now he's spotted again. And soon I might be able to shoot this Friedrich. Now also, one has to keep in mind that the German battleships do have hydro. Then again, I mean, if he's in hydro range, I can't probably smoke fire him anyway, so... That's why I have my trusty island here. Now, on the left flank, we've basically absolutely lost the left flank. We have a Chambard there that it looks like he's reversing, which, considering what he's facing, might be a smart move. So we really should try to deal with this flank here before the enemy flanks us. So the Friedrich finally appeared, but there is only 25 seconds of smoke left. planes are in the mix. I would have tried going for armor piercing here into his broadside, I guess. I mean, he's already burning, so I'd have to hit like an area that's not burning to set another fire. Well, smoke has disappeared. I'm going behind the island. And well, I'm hydroed. I'm not really surprised by that. The problem is that the Iowa and the Missouri might take advantage of that, although they are quite a bit far away. I think they are shooting nice now, and well, the Friedrich is dealt with, and I'm in concealment again. There is an Irian barely floating. Let's try to take care of that. I think, yeah, I don't need to fire again here, so lovely. We are still a ship ahead. We are a bit behind on points. Well, there are some planes incoming. I probably could have just gone defensive fire here. Because, I mean, it's not like I'm running low on defensive fire charges. But then again, like, the planes got shredded even without it, so always nice to see planes falling from the sky. So my radar is ready again. I did try a radar earlier that was basically pointless because nothing was in range. But this time we are able to catch Benson. And I mean, the Benson is on the edge of my radar, and there aren't really many ships I think who can shoot the Benson, so he's probably going to escape. Also have to be aware that I have to dodge some planes here, carriers trying to drop me. But I mean, we are doing some work on the Benson, even if we aren't finishing him off. We are making it easier to do so later on, I guess. So Benson escaped, but we do control the center. Well, we technically control all circles right now, although 2 of them are contested. Now the enemy tier pits here seems to be getting low. Our carrier is hopefully able to finish that off. That only leaves the Amalfi here on this flank, and then we can, I guess, focus on the other side. Now, the enemy still has 2 battleships, and I think they're still pretty healthy down there. We are pretty lucky that those guys never actually pushed in the center. If like about 5 minutes ago they just have sailed into the center and pushed us and flanked us, then we would probably have been wrecked. But you know, thankfully they just continued on their merry little path around the outskirts of the map, where they couldn't hurt anyone. And I was a bit too optimistic with this tier pit sinking, it looks like, because tier pit is still floating. And I'm not really doing anything to the tier pits. I'm also... Oh, there is a fire finally. And yeah, well, that fire was a bit pointless, wasn't it? Now, the biggest threat against me are the Iowa and the Missouri. They might be further away, but you know, that's won't necessarily stop them. And I should really try to shoot the Benson here instead of looking at the Amalfi. The Benson is spotted and there is really no reason. I mean, okay, now there is an Amalfi 5 kilometers away from me, so that counts as a serious threat. But I really should have tried getting a few shots in the Benson, I think. And yes, it looks like I'm getting shot from those battleships. That's also a serious threat. There's the carrier incoming. That's compared to the other things a minor threat, I guess. So, I'm still detected. Let's see what we can find with radar. And we found 2 destroyers. Isn't that lovely? Now, I've got Hydro running, I've got radar running, and my secondaries actually finished off that guy. Now we just have to dodge a few torps, ideally while not getting citadeled by the battleships. And that's a bit of a problem, because I really had to slow down here in order to dodge those torps and maneuver carefully. And that means I'm just a prime target for those battleships who can abuse that situation. But Viper comes to the rescue, and he is saving my bacon here with his smokescreen. Now, unfortunately, it looks like that Benson is going to escape. But we got one of the destroyers. We also seem to have a Georgia that for some reason is sticking with the carrier. I mean, at least the Georgia might be able to take care of the Amalfi, that's nice. Now we need to deal with those two rather heavy battleships, and there is a Missouri there with Raider. But he's too far away. Actually, I think I said earlier that there wasn't any Raider, so... Well, I mean, the Missouri I think never was in a position to get much out of this Raider. So there is that. Although, I mean, the Akatsuki might disagree with that assessment. Now, those two battleships are, I think, getting cross-topped from the Akatsuki and from my division mate in the Benson. So they probably are not having a very good day. But you know, that just happens if you like just sail around the outskirts of the map and wait until all of your team dies, and then you just sail at a straight line towards the enemy, and then you are getting popped the crap out of here. Which is pretty good for us, because otherwise this is a pretty even game. But if we can take care of those two battleships, then it should... Oh, we have the Amalfi against the Georgia down there. How will that work out? Amalfi seems to be pretty low, Georgia seems to be pretty healthy, and unless the Georgia gets topped, there is much risk there. Speaking of getting topped, Missouri is dealt with, Iowa almost dealt with. That Amalfi is surviving surprisingly long. I mean, maybe the Georgia is not secondary spec, because I would have expected the Georgia secondaries to take this guy apart by now. Well, meanwhile that Iowa should be done for. And the carrier is coming in here in order to interrupt me. And look at that, I got an AA defensive expert out of it. Yeah, I mean, at this point it's basically won. The enemy has a Lexington and a Benson left with 835 points. And we... Well, I mean, the only circle we don't control is the middle circle, and I've almost capped that. Let's go for some defensive fire. And let's shred those planes before they can interrupt me. So... Obviously the Benson is in the center because he is trying to flip that. And well, he is also spotted. Trying to disappear in smoke won't do him much good, so let's go towards the Benson. And see if we can get one more use out of this Raider. I mean, the carrier is camping atop of him, the Akatsuki and the Soyuz are moving in. I'm coming with my Raider. I mean, the Benson is pretty much done for. The only chance the Benson has is, I guess, that the timer runs out before we close in with him. Well, or that. Reach 1,000 points. And there is the Benson. He's trying to make a run for it out of his smoke, but the carrier was waiting. Our forces are very close anyway, and there is the win. And here we are with some results, 2,702 base experience, that's a lot more than I expected out of it, so it turns out it was a pretty good game. Also turns out that attacking a Cleveland with planes might not be the best choice. Well, I mean, it depends on the planes I suppose, but I shot down 42 of those, so that's lovely. And yeah, I mean, I got a few decaps, I got caps, and so I guess the experience added up. Now, I found this a pretty interesting battle, and you know, Cleveland not a ship that I feature that often, so I hope you enjoyed watching it, and I'll see you guys next time.